There is a room in your grandparents' generation of houses that modern design forgot on purpose. A step down, a change in level, a room that announced itself as different the moment you entered it. Lower, deeper, wrapped in seating, built for sitting close and staying a while. For 40 years, builders called it outdated, a tripping hazard, a relic of shag carpet and wood paneling. They filled it in, leveled it off, and built flat, open-plan living rooms instead. Now it is back. Architects are specifying it again. Renovation shows are featuring it again. And the reason has almost nothing to do with nostalgia. Welcome to affordable tiny living. Today, the sunken living room, or conversation pit, where it came from, why it disappeared, why it is returning, what it costs to build new or retrofit, and the honest limitations that killed it the first time and could kill it again. Subscribe right now. Let us get into it. A sunken living room is a section of interior floor set below the surrounding floor level, typically 12 to 24 inches lower, creating a distinct, enclosed seating area within an otherwise open floor plan. The defining feature is not the drop in level by itself, it is what the drop enables. A sunken space reads as a room within a room, even inside a fully open-plan layout. Walls are not required to create separation. The change in elevation does the work that a wall would otherwise do. It signals a boundary, defines a use, and creates enclosure without blocking sightlines or natural light. Most sunken living rooms, historically and today, are built as conversation pits. The seating is built into the perimeter of the sunken area itself, upholstered and fixed, rather than furnished with freestanding pieces. The pit faces inward, toward the center of the space, rather than outward toward a television or a window. This inward orientation is the design's original purpose, and it is also the reason the feature is returning now. The transition into the pit is typically 2 or 3 shallow steps, sometimes running the full width of the opening, occasionally paired with a built-in step that doubles as additional seating or a side table surface. A sunken living room rarely announces itself on the exterior of a home, because it is fundamentally an interior grading move rather than a footprint change, but its presence does shape the building envelope in specific, visible ways. Homes designed around a conversation pit from the ground up often exploit a natural site slope. The sunken room sits at the level where the land itself drops, meaning the exterior wall at that section of the house may show a lower band of windows, or a walkout grade transition not present elsewhere on the elevation. Mid-century homes built into hillsides used this constantly, turning a sunken living room into a literal extension of the landscape rather than a decorative interior gesture. Where the pit does not follow a natural grade change, the exterior impact is usually limited to window placement. Sunken rooms often get a continuous band of low, wide windows, positioned to align with the seated eye line of someone in the pit, rather than someone standing, which reads on the exterior as an unusually low window band relative to the rest of the facade. Roof form is occasionally affected as well. Additions or new builds pursuing a dramatic double-height effect above a sunken pit sometimes use a raised or vaulted roof section directly above it, visible on the exterior as a roofline anomaly over one part of the house. Inside, the conversation pit is organized entirely around proximity and orientation. The built-in seating runs continuously along the sunken perimeter. No gaps, no freestanding chairs breaking the circle. Typically upholstered in a single durable fabric, deep enough to sit cross-legged, rather than just perched on the edge. A low central surface sits at or near the sunken floor level itself. A fixed coffee table, a built-in fire feature, or in some revival designs, nothing at all, leaving the floor open for cushions, drinks, or simply legroom. Lighting in a well-designed pit is layered low rather than overhead. Recessed step lighting on the transition stairs, low sconces at the seating back height, sometimes a single statement pendant, positioned low enough to feel intimate rather than functional. The goal is a pool of light contained within the pit itself, visually separating it from the surrounding room, even without walls. Flooring inside the pit is frequently different from the surrounding floor. A plush carpet or a warm wood tone against a harder surrounding material, like tile or polished concrete, reinforcing the sense that this is a distinct zone, built for bare feet and long conversations rather than foot traffic. Surrounding the pit, the rest of the room remains fully open, sightlines uninterrupted across the drop. The pit is a room within the room, never a room that closes the rest of the space off. 3 things killed the conversation pit the first time. First, the television. As TV ownership became universal through the 1970s and 80s, living rooms reorganized around a single focal point facing a screen. A conversation pit's inward-facing seating is structurally opposed to that arrangement. You cannot face 6 directions and 1 television simultaneously. Builders chose the television. Second, liability and safety. An unmarked step-down, in the dark, remains one of the most common residential fall hazards on record. As homes were resold across generations, and as building codes tightened around level changes and guarding, many pits were filled in during renovation, specifically to eliminate the fall risk and to simplify insurance and resale. Third, flexibility. Fixed built-in seating cannot be rearranged, reupholstered easily, or removed when tastes change. As open-plan, furniture-flexible living rooms became the dominant model from the 1990s onward, a room that could only be one thing, a pit, permanently, fell out of step with a market that wanted rooms that could be anything. A growing segment of homeowners and designers are deliberately building living rooms that do not organize around a television at all. Screens moved to dedicated media rooms or bedrooms, freeing the main living space to be reorganized around people instead. The conversation pit is the most historically proven design solution for a screen-free, conversation-first living room, and designers are returning to it directly rather than reinventing it. 2 decades of fully open-plan homes have produced a documented design fatigue, large, undifferentiated rooms that feel exposed, echo acoustically, and struggle to create any sense of intimacy at any scale of gathering. A sunken pit reintroduces enclosure and intimacy without adding a wall, which is exactly what open-plan homes cannot otherwise offer. It solves open-plan fatigue while preserving the sightlines and light that made open-plan popular in the first place. Mid-century modern design has held consistent, in some markets increasing, cultural and resale value for over a decade. As renovation projects on original mid-century homes have multiplied, more owners are restoring original sunken living rooms rather than filling them in. And more architects working in a mid-century idiom on new builds are specifying the feature intentionally as an authentic period detail rather than a novelty. A conversation pit photographs and films distinctively in a way that a flat, open-plan living room does not. Interior design content across social platforms has driven measurable demand for statement architectural features that read clearly in a single image or short video. The sunken living room is one of a small number of features, alongside things like statement staircases, that deliver that visual distinctiveness reliably. 4 principles separate a conversation pit that gets used daily from one that becomes an expensive, awkwardly furnished hole in the floor. A drop beyond roughly 24 inches starts to feel like a genuine level change, requiring deliberate care rather than a casual step. The most successful pits keep the drop to 12 to 18 inches, enough to read clearly as a distinct zone, shallow enough that crossing it never interrupts the flow of movement through the room. Every transition step must be lit, always, without exception. This is the single detail that separates a beloved design feature from a liability claim. Step lighting integrated into the riser of each stair is now standard practice on any professionally designed sunken room, precisely because the safety issue that helped kill the feature the first time is entirely solvable with modern low-voltage lighting. A conversation pit, furnished with freestanding furniture, placed into a sunken hole, is not a conversation pit. It is a hole with furniture in it. The built-in perimeter seating is what creates the enclosed, cocoon-like feeling that makes the room function. Retrofitting loose furniture into an existing sunken area rarely achieves the same effect. The most successful contemporary pits are unambiguous about their function: a conversation and lounging space, a media-free zone, sometimes a dedicated fireside space around a sunken hearth. Pits that try to serve multiple competing functions, dining, media viewing, and conversation all at once, tend to satisfy none of them well. 2 cost scenarios: new construction versus retrofit into an existing home. New construction, built into original framing. Structural framing adjustment for the level change, $3,500 to $7,500. Built-in perimeter seating, framed and upholstered, $8,000 to $22,000, depending on size and material. Step lighting and low-voltage electrical, $1,800 to $3,000. Flooring differentiation, pit versus surrounding room, $2,500 to $6,500. Guarding, railing, or code-required edge treatment, $1,200 to $3,000. Total for new construction, $17,000 to $42,500. Retrofit into an existing slab-on-grade home structural excavation and slab modification. Waterproofing and drainage adjustment, $3,000 to $7,000. Built-in perimeter seating, $8,000 to $22,000. Step lighting and electrical, $1,800 to $3,500. Flooring and finishing, $2,500 to $6,500. Structural engineering and permitting, $3,500 to $8,000. Total for retrofit, $30,800 to $75,000. Market comparison: retrofitting a conversation pit into an existing home costs roughly 1.8 to 2 times more than building one into new construction, almost entirely due to structural excavation and waterproofing work that new build framing avoids entirely. For homeowners restoring an original mid-century pit rather than building one from scratch, costs typically fall by 50 to 70%, since the structural drop and often the seating shell already exist and require refinishing rather than construction. 3 limitations. The same 3 that killed it before, still relevant now. 1. Resale remains divided. A conversation pit is a strong feature for buyers who want it, and a genuine deterrent for buyers who do not. Unlike most renovations, this one does not appeal to a broad middle of the market. It appeals strongly to a smaller segment and can actively reduce interest from everyone else. 2. Accessibility is a real constraint. A sunken room with fixed steps is inherently harder to navigate for anyone using a mobility aid, and near impossible to make fully accessible without compromising the level change that defines the feature. This is a permanent limitation of the form, not a solvable design detail. 3. It demands commitment to its one function. Homeowners who change their minds about how they want to use a living room will find a conversation pit far harder to reconfigure than an open flat space. Know that you are committing to the room's purpose, not just its look, before you build one. The conversation pit disappeared because it prioritized one thing: sitting close, talking, staying a while. At a moment when houses were reorganizing around a different priority: the television, the open plan, the flexible room that could be anything. Its return says something about what people are missing now. Not the shag carpet, not the decade, the enclosure, the inward focus. A room that cannot be anything, because it was built to be one specific thing extremely well. So here is what we want to know. Would you build a sunken living room into your next home? Or does the accessibility and resale trade-off make a flat, flexible living room the smarter choice regardless of how good a pit looks on camera? Drop your honest answer in the comments. We read every single one. Subscribe to Affordable Tiny Living if you are not already here. We go this deep every single week. Thank you for spending this time with us here at Affordable Tiny Living. Mid-century home restoration contacts, conversation pit builders, and structural retrofit resources are all linked in the description below. Subscribe, hit the bell. We are here every week covering the housing forms that are actually changing how people live, not just how they build.